car in which a Hyderabad teenager was allegedly gang raped last week has been found at a farmhouse in Moinabad. Police say the Innova is still not registered, so it has no registration plate, and they're looking at whether the accused tried to wipe off evidence inside it. The car may have been allotted to a Telangana Rashtra Samiti leader who was recently elected to his post. The son of a TRS leader is in fact one of the accused in this case, which has made national headlines. The young girl was allegedly gang raped by 5 boys in the car after meeting them at a party in a pub in the city in late May. The accused are all said to belong to influential families in Hyderabad. Amid the spiraling outrage, Telangana's governor on Sunday ordered the chief secretary and the police chief to submit a detailed report by Tuesday. Well, joining us now for more on this, we have Renuka Chaudhary, former Member of Parliament, former Union Minister for Women and Child Development. She is a Congress leader from Hyderabad. We have Bachchu Srinivas, spokesperson of the TRS, also joining us. Shobha Dey joining us from Mumbai this evening, and Khushbu Sundar, member of the BJP's National Executive, with us as well. It is outrageous, what has happened. Renuka Chaudhary, let me get your comments first. I feel like we're sort of reliving the past. We were talking about Nirbhaya so many years ago, and it's like we've learned nothing from it.
Yeah, there's a horrible sense of deja vu whenever an incident like this happens, and then we wonder whether we've actually moved forward. This heinous rape of this young girl, a gang rape, and worse, the breakdown in administration, where they cannot even find the car, and the car magically surfaces after 5-6 days. And do you expect that there'll be any forensic evidence available to us in that car now? And then there is backdoor negotiations to try and pressure the family to withdraw the case. Lucrative monies have been offered on many fronts. Police I kept asking, I went to the police station and I said, please show me the FIR. What are the sections that you have registered this case as? Which they kept saying, no, it's happening, we're looking, it's a disaster. And this whole concept that people can get away with rape. And amongst the rapists, the alleged rapists, the 5 rapists, 3 of them are also minors. So where are we going? Where are we going with children of this country? Where are we going with administration failures? And what do we do with police whose powers are subverted by those in power?
Absolutely. Bachchu Srinivas, is there a cover-up by the state government here? Accusations that the police have acted late. They have taken so many days to even find the car in which this horrible crime is said to have happened. The sons of influential politicians from Hyderabad possibly involved. Is the police going slow because the TRS is making it go slow?
No, not exactly, Nidhi. It is not. We don't accept that it is getting delayed, because whatever the gang rape which happened in 28th, and the complaint was lodged on 31st. The police people are immediately responded, and the Hadi who is concerned to the party was arrested, and they have taken into the custody, and immediately the action has taken. The very next day, the police identified that it is 5 people are accused. Now, so far, 4 are arrested. As Madam Renuka Chaudhary, the senior leader of Congress, is telling that the FIR is not shown whenever she went to the police station. The FIR has come in the media, where it has shown to the public, and the sections are 354 and 323, and IPC 9 read with the 10 POCSO Act, or these are the sections against the people, against the culprits, which are in the FIR. If really it is not transparent, it is not speedy, when we cannot take into the custody a TRS leader's son. Already he is in the custody, he has produced to the judiciary also. So we really want to drag, we really want to hide, we want to delay it. The government want to delay. We don't take the custody our party leader's son. We don't see that whether he belongs to Congress party or TRS party or BJP party. See, ultimately the victim has to be justified. That is our basic motto of the government.
But Sure, you're saying that there is no cover-up. Khushbu, Sundar, would you like to weigh in on this? One is, of course, the way this is being handled by authorities there, but also the sort of the bigger message from here, as Renuka Chaudhary was pointing out, how disturbing it is that you have teenagers, minors who are now sort of, involved in crimes like this. It's not that it's not happened before, but these are supposed to be apparently well-educated boys from well-educated families.
Exactly, and that's what my worry is. Where is the generation of today is going? Where are we taking them? Why are they being misled like this? I think everybody needs to be blamed. The way this case has gone forward is absolutely horrific. I mean, a 17-year-old kid raped, and you have 3 other kids, boys who are minors themselves. They're raping, they're being involved in such a heinous crime. I think it's really, really very, very shocking. We need to look into it. And yes, there is a complete failure from the government side because the police haven't acted on time. You don't have the details. There has been a clear evidence where they have tried to wash away the car. Yes, they have picked a few bits and pieces, probably one strand of hair and some biological fluid here and there, fluid. And I don't know how much that is going to work. I think what is important is first give complete safety and assurance to the victim and give her the comfort that justice will be delivered to her. This is not about any political party. I'm not going to speak about politics. I'm not going to speak about anything else. For me, the thing is a 17-year-old kid was gang raped, and this is what needs to be taken forward. And we need to put a full stop. Where they come from, which party they come from, which affluent family they come from is not my problem. I want whoever that person may be, those 4 or 5 boys who are involved, they should be punished. I don't want them to be, because they are juvenile, you put them in a juvenile home and then say after 6 months they're free to go out and commit another crime. No, you need to make them understand if they can commit such a heinous crime, such a crime, I think you need to teach them a lesson like an adult. And this is what we have discussed in detail when Nirbhaya case happened.
Yeah, but the point is, I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that you're saying that this is, this cuts across politics. But Shobha Dey, when the Nirbhaya gang rape happened, there was an outcry, there were protests. Renuka Chaudhary will remember how much flack the Congress government got for that. And then you had new rape laws, and they were tougher, but clearly not a deterrent enough. You'll have to unmute your mic, Shobha Dey.
I'm absolutely shocked and appalled at the very kind of mild response to something that is so horrific. There is clearly a moral compass is missing, because at the end of it all, this girl got into a car twice around with schoolmates. It wasn't as if she was abducted by criminals. These are boys she trusted. And considering that, obviously she'd gone to a party in good faith with people she was familiar with and she knew. The biggest culprits, I would think, are the parents who are trying to shield these boys. Because by doing so, the message they're sending out is, our boys are above and beyond the law, that we can endorse this, condone this, forgive them, and also go to the extent of, spreading these awful rumors about the victim. So eventually it becomes a case of the victim who invited this. And look at the irony of it all. They were at a high-end club called Insomnia, Amnesia. Well, soon we'll have amnesia from the cops. They took 5 days to even locate the car, probably to destroy whatever evidence there may have been to nail these kids. They're not kids, by the way. They're just technically not majors, but that doesn't absolve them on any front. They knew exactly what they were doing. They took advantage of a classmate, a schoolmate. And this act of brutality, let's not bring politics into it. Let's not quote lawmakers. Let's not bring this party, that party's MLA's son or not an MLA's son. All the people who are responsible are equally culpable, but so are the parents who are protecting these children, because they're not really kids. Like I said earlier, semi-adults who must be made accountable. And for heaven's sake, the victim's identity is, you're mandated by law to protect that. So how far have we come? If you're asking me that, we've come nowhere, because within maybe a few, 2 days of this awful crime taking place in Hyderabad, another gang rape took place not so far away. Maybe not in such a high-profile area from Jubilee Hills to Mughal Para, but it was exactly the same crime. So it's
but
not.
Shobha De, I mean, just to reflect on this question of the moral compass. What's happened to it? I mean, when you see these, as you call them, semi-adults, minors, as I said, from educated families, it seems like we learned nothing from all that outrage in Delhi from all those years ago. It just doesn't seem to matter. It's the death penalty that we all thought would be the big deterrent has not really turned out to be that either.
It's so mute. I'm not even talking about from within the society in Hyderabad. Of course, they've all closed ranks and they've zipped their mouths. But I'm talking about young people across India. I would imagine that they'd be complete and total outrage and support for this young victim, and that they would be saying how awful it is, this act of brutality from their own, a young person, so-called educated. I wouldn't even call these boys educated. They're privileged, they're spoiled, they're arrogant, and they think they can get away with it. And if there is what is called friendly policing going on, perhaps they will get away with it. And that is a tragedy of abuse of power in places, in certain cities, where extremely influential people think they can get away with rape,
absolutely,
and worse.
Absolutely. Renuka Chaudhary wanted to come in.
Yeah, what we all need to collectively look at. It's not just the rape case. There is a case, she becomes a statistics in a few days. And every day a new statistic is added to how much crime against women is done and how much crime against children is done. The trend now seems to be going that the victims are getting younger and younger. But the point that we need to address is, we have a Hyderabad advocate who actually showed a video of a young girl in a car, which he attributed, tried to point that it is the victim who's doing. And this man is an advocate. Now, if we're talking about law and crime, that is a crime. That you are trying to show a victim. Then they take cover and they're saying that, oh, but we didn't show the face. So if you can't show the face and you didn't show the face and you're taking shelter, how do we know that is the victim? And why are you trying to show a video where the victim is further victimized? And you're a practicing advocate. So don't you think that the Bar Council should take cognizance of this? That the High Court and the Supreme Court should take so much of cognizance of this? So this is not just a problem, but we have compounding the injury with people around who are trying to get political mileage out of this whole thing. And they don't hesitate to show the victim's video on TV.
Absolutely. But I just want to say before we wrap up, though, that, I know there's usually this sort of cry that let's not politicize rape. I mean, as someone, who's been unfortunate enough to cover this story for so long, you need to politicize it, make it a front and center issue for voters, for women voters in particular. For God's sake, prioritize it and make it a priority. It's not a priority. It's not being taken seriously.
Election Commission should also say that crime like this and associated people with gender crime like this and children's crime particularly should be debarred from contesting elections if it comes to that.
I think that is an important suggestion. Thank you very much for to all of you for joining us on that important story with your views, and it's a story we will continue to remain focused on until the police actually do get to the bottom of this. We'll take a quick break.